There's a lot of hair drying going on.
Ah, bingo.
I don't think we could get a better theme than Bluey for a set of Christmas windows. And that's because it is just such an iconic Australian character. Everyone knows Bluey, everyone loves Bluey. Obviously we've jumped at the opportunity. This year we've decided to depict Bluey's Christmas Day. So we're taking the audience across 6 windows, and each of those windows is a special part of each day. So we start with obviously Christmas morning, unwrapping the presents. From there, we decide to go down to the beach in window 5 and play a little bit of beach cricket. And then finally, we finish just on dusk with Bluey's house lit up for Christmas, which is just a beautiful scene to finish on. So it has been a challenge to bring Bluey to real life because we've had to take 2-dimensional drawings and turn them into 3-dimensional characters, and that's always a little bit difficult just with proportions, getting things right and getting them to look right as 3-dimensional characters. All our characters start with a mould being taken off an original shape. So once we've got all the pieces to a character, we have to join them together, and there's a lot of time taken where we have to make all the joins perfect so that you don't see the joins from in the fiberglass. From there we sand them by hand, then we spray putty, which is just a really thick paint that you can sands very easily, and that just brings up the surface to a nice silky smooth. And once they're at that stage, they get painted in the base colour, and then back to here where they get what's called art finishing or makeup, which adds all the different colours and the line details and everything you can see here. So I don't want to give away my secret.
Oh, don't use your please face.
But inside Bluey, we have some really clever control systems. And what that allows us to do is to actually choreograph Bluey's eyebrow movement. She has a tail wag, and she also tilts up and down. So our control system is able to control all those movements and combine them to make this beautiful fluid movement that brings Bluey to life. But to get Bluey's tail to wag, we have to use what's called a DC motor with a crank, and we actually swish it from side to side with a motor on the inside, pushing the tail. It's a simple movement, but obviously a movement that's got to happen 68,000 times. I think working with Bluey being an animated cartoon, the style is very different to what we've presented previously. So this year it's obviously very cartoony.
I'm not taking advice from a cartoon dog.
And that's raised quite a few challenges because everything has had to be built from scratch, because you can't go out and buy a fake fluffy looking pavlova.
Ah, got the nod, pavlova.
Yes.
So the props utilise a lot of different techniques and materials to actually create that cartoon world where everything is rounded, everything looks soft and spongy. So the pavlova is actually really hard, and it's actually been sculpted out of clay, and that's to achieve all that roundness and fluffiness that you can see. So that's one technique, is actually sculpting. Another technique is using a very special soft foam that we use here. We can get these beautiful folds and suggestion of movement with this foam, and it paints up beautifully. I think that the hardest prop so far has actually been, well, it's one of my favourite scenes, but it's actually the Christmas table and all the food on the table, because it is actually really intricate, and it's so Aussie. We've got things like prawns, we've got little mince tarts, we have a leg of ham. I think window 3 table dressing is the most intricate, and it's going to probably be also the most photographed.
Every episode and we have to try to find. We found all of them in every episode.
So installation is a choreographed process. So when we start within the windows, one of the first things that goes in is all the overhead lighting, and we use theatre lights to actually light the windows for the season. We start with our perimeters, then we start on the back walls and we put in our backgrounds, images, and then once all that's in, we sort of start in the centre and work our way out. And then the last week we commission the windows so that we program our lighting and we plug in all our characters, make sure they're working okay, and create and play back and run the windows for a couple of days before opening just to make sure everything's right. In window 4 of the afternoon swim,
Got it!
we have a lot of electrics in the window, and electrics, as you know, don't mix well with water. So we've had to be very, very safe and conservative with our design. So we really wanted Bingo swimming in the water, and that was our inspiration to actually split the window so that the audience can see inside the pool and also on top. We've got Bingo above the waterline, and then underneath you can also see her kicking her feet and spinning in her little life buoy, also being attacked by the creepy crawly. So we're using a little bit of water just on the top of the pool to create the illusion of a completely full pool of water. It is an amazing gift and opportunity to be able to create these windows, because we have 1.2 million people look at these windows that queue up for 2-3 hours just to look at the windows. So that's a huge honour for me, and it also makes me really nervous. So window 1 is Christmas morning, and we've called that window Hooray, It's Christmas. So captures the excitement of Christmas morning, unwrapping all your presents. Window 2 is a kitchen scene, and we're capturing that moment before serving Christmas lunch. So the kitchen's in a mess, there's gravy everywhere, but it's a little chaotic scene, and we're calling that Christmas cooking. Window 3 is family lunch, set on the patio outside, a classic Australian Christmas lunch. Mixed up chairs, different height tables, but prawns and ham and everything else you expect to see on a Christmas table is there in window 3. Window 4 we've called Christmas Swim, and it's the swim after lunch in the backyard pool. Some really funny moments in there for kids to explore. Window 5 is beach cricket, so that late afternoon trip down to the beach for a family game of cricket. Window 6 we've titled Merry Christmas. It's our sign-off window. It's a beautiful window of Bluey's house with all the Christmas lights and Bingo playing with the remote control. It's a very funny scene, and it's a great one to finish on.